Welcome back, YouTube pipe smokers. Mutton Chop Piper here. Well, today is a continuation video of our series, Let's Talk Tobacco. And today we're going to be talking about crumble cake, or some manufacturers call it just cake. Now, how is crumble cake made? Well, crumble cake is made by taking a percentage of several several components, mixing them together, putting them into a press, and putting them under great pressure for a certain amount of time. Now, you've heard this process before. Yes, that's the same process they use when they make plug pipe tobacco. There's a difference though. Plug pipe tobacco is whole leaf or pieces of leaves that are stacked on top of each other. And then they're pressed under great pressure for a certain amount of time. Crumble cake is actually loose leaf tobacco or ribbon tobacco. A percentage of each component is combined, they're mixed, then they're put into the press under great pressure for a certain amount of time. Now, why would we do that? Why not just take a little bit of Perique, a little bit of Latakia, a little bit of Virginia, put them in a bowl, mix them up, throw them in a jar, and voila, you've got your blend. Well, I'll explain why you don't want to do that. In each type of tobacco, hidden inside are oils. When you make crumble cake pipe tobacco, you take a percentage of blend components. We'll use three. Let's use Perique, Virginia, and Latakia. So you use a percentage of Perique, a percentage of Virginia, and a percentage of Latakia. You take those percentages, or you take those blend components, you put them in a bowl, and you mix them up. Mix them up very well to where they're very well mixed. Then you put that blend into a press and put it under great pressure for a certain amount of time. Depending on what the blend calls for, the blender will press it for a certain amount of time that they have decided is good for that blend, and they will press it for a certain amount of time. By putting those components under great pressure, it releases the oils that are hidden inside. And the oils infuse themselves into the other blends, other components that are in the blend. So when you put Perique under pressure, it releases the oils, and the Latakia and the Virginia soak up some of those oils. Latakia, once you put it under great pressure, the oils are released, and the Perique and the Virginia soak up some of those oils, so forth and so on. To where when the blend is complete, you come out with a brick of tobacco, and the oils from each blend component have infused themselves into the other components. So that when you break off some of that crumble cake and you put it into your pipe, even though you may get, let's say you get a larger pocket of Perique, you're still going to taste the Latakia and the Virginia because the oils have infused themselves into the Perique leaf. Same with the Latakia and the Virginia. So that by doing this, it forms a more cohesive blend. It gives you a better flavor profile and a more constant flavor profile. Now let's go back and use the example again. If you just took Perique, Latakia, and Virginia and mixed them in a bowl and put them in a jar. The first time you trickled some of that tobacco into your pipe, you may just taste Latakia because you hit a pocket of Latakia leaf. The next time, you might just taste Virginia because you hit a pocket of Virginia. The oils have not infused themselves in the other blends, so you're going to get you're not going to get a consistent flavor from that blend. You're just going to get, you may get Virginia one time and Perique the next time, Latakia the next time, depending on how much you put into, how much of that component you put into the blend. So by pressing the tobaccos together, it releases the oils mix, and they form a more cohesive, a more constant flavor profile for that blend. And if you just put the blends together and mix them up, you're not going to get that same flavor profile. All right, so let's take a look. I've got two blends here that I want to use as examples. First one is Hearth & Home's Fusilier's Ration. The other one is Captain Earl's Private Stock. So let's take a look at each one. Okay. As you can see, the Crumble Cake looks a lot like the plug tobacco. Now, as you recall, on plug tobacco, as the leaves are stacked, you pretty much have to cut slices off of the plug in order to get all the flavor, each flavor profile. Like if you've got Perique, Virginia, and Latakia, since they are stacked, you have to cut along the edge into slices and then break it up in order to get the proper taste profile. With Crumble Cake, since the loose leaf tobacco has been put under great pressure, the oils released, the oils infuse themselves into all the tobacco. And with Crumble Cake, you can peel off an edge or peel it off and still get the same profile, flavor profile, because the oils have infused themselves into the surrounding leaf. So let's put this one away. And let's look at Captain Earl's. Now you see the Captain Earl's? It looks like a brownie, and that's pretty much what happens. But as you can see, you might be able to see it. See the individual ribbons of leaf? The individual ribbons, see the color? There's darker and lighter leaf in there. So how I do this is I just take a corner like so, and I break it off. Okay, now see the tobacco leaf that's in there, the ribbon? Now, the way to prepare this is you can either put it in your hand and rub it out, or you can take your fingers and break it up, or you could take this whole piece and just stuff it in your pipe. My preferred method is to take and just sort of lightly break it up. See how that is? And now you've got basically ribbon tobacco now. See that? Let it dry for a few minutes or half hour or so, and then smoke it. Now, I need to warn you about certain blends of crumble cake. Fusilier's Ration is a good example. I found that Fusilier's Ration, if you rub it out too much, it turns it to powder. Now, why is that a concern? Well, if you put the tobacco in your pipe and you start to draw on it, then you're going to get that powder into your mouth. So, depending on how the crumble cake was made, and you'll just have to experiment. You know, if you get your first crumble cake, peel off an edge and kind of use your fingers to break it up. Don't rub it out, just see how it breaks up. You just have to watch what you're doing when you break it up, because if you get it into that powder form, you're going to get that powder into your mouth, and you don't want that. So that blend you would want to lightly break up or put into your pipe as a whole piece. All right, well, that's it for this video. I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed it. Until my next video, I want to wish you and your family happy piping.